All right. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to the show. Today I'm joined by AlphaRay, co-founder of Raydium. It's great to have you on, man. Thanks so much for joining.
Thanks for having me here.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Raydium is an automated market maker built on Solana. It enables lightning fast trades, shared liquidity, and a lot of new features for earning yield. Before we get too deep into it, could you just go ahead and give the audience a quick background on yourself and your team, as well as just kind of touch on the basics of Raydium and why you chose to build it?
All right, sure. So basically, most of our team were traders. We've been trading for a long time now, and last year we all got into DeFi. We did lots of yield farming, lots of liquidity provision, swaps, and joined in on a lot of governance as well, actually. And we got pretty hooked on it. It was really exciting being in DeFi last year when everything was just starting to take off. Everyone was talking about all the new projects and everything just sounded like a food truck. So after doing it for most of the summer, we found that gas prices were going up really high and that most of the new users weren't able to get into it anymore. You need a starting capital of like 10, at least 5, 6 digits USD to really do anything in there without getting destroyed by gas fees. So we started looking for a different solution. And at that time we were chatting with the FTX team and they had just built Serum. So we took a look at Serum and it was actually really cool. It was built on Solana, which we actually hadn't heard about before. But we played around with Serum, we played around with Solana, and it looked like the next big thing. So we basically formulated an idea to build a market maker on Serum, and yeah, that's how we got started.
Yeah, that's awesome. DeFi summer was definitely very interesting. Was very active at that time as well. And like you said, pretty much getting destroyed by gas fees. So totally get your point there. And so, how important was that relationship with Serum early on, and kind of having them more or less be like the first mover over to Solana, kind of for the DeFi ecosystem? Was it key to have somebody like that in the ecosystem already? Or did the opportunity just sound, too good to really pass up?
It was pretty big. Serum was one of the turning points. We looked at it and tried it out. We made a few trades on it, sent orders, and it worked really well. And we could really see a future in Serum. So that was the main thing that brought us over. If it worked for them, I think we might have waited a few more weeks, looked around, and we might have found BSC or one of the other layer twos instead.
Yeah, so it sounds like it was a good choice to jump in on Solana, especially with how things are going now, man. It's just crazy to see kind of the growth that's happened on Solana in, I mean, less than a year, really. I don't think it's even been a year so far that most of these projects have been built. And so, what is the relationship currently with between Raydium and Serum? Are orders going to their central limit order book? How is that relationship kind of working right now?
It's working out really well. So right now we are the largest market makers on Serum. We do about 60% of their maker volume there right now. And the other large players are basically Alameda and Jump. So yeah, what we really brought to Serum was a market making service, as well as an AMM and all the other DeFi features. But yeah, what they really needed at that time was a market making service so that all these other projects could get launched and that they could have a market on Serum as well.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's really cool. So, kind of taking a step back real quick, were you doing a lot of market making before you joined crypto? I know you said that, you guys are all traders. You traded at a prop shop and stuff like that. Were you mostly doing, market making stuff or just a ton of different trading strategies?
Yeah, we were doing all sorts, a lot of market making, a lot of HFT, a lot of delta neutral strategies, a bit of directionals, but mostly around market making.
Nice. That's really cool. That was definitely one of the routes that I was wanting to go down. A couple of my friends went out to Australia, down to Sydney, and traded at a prop shop down there. Still have a couple of friends that are actively trading there and stuff. So definitely really familiar with that kind of scene. So it's cool to hear that you guys have that background, and I feel like that's really useful for people to know because some of these projects, especially like the newer projects, you see I don't want to say, people are just joining for like a cash grab, but you do see a lot of people that might not have much of a trading or finance background and they kind of just jump in crypto and start building these products. And I think there's a clear difference in, some of the quality of these different projects depending on who the team is that actually built it. So, yeah, I think it's just good to kind of establish that early on. But yeah, so I'm looking at the numbers now. It looks like there's just about $1 billion in TVL or total value locked in Raydium. That's a huge milestone. And, just a crazy amount of money. How does it feel to build a project and have that much success in less than a year?
Really, it's definitely really cool. It is from the get-go, we were working super hard on it and we've been moving up really quickly, but it's kind of crazy thinking about how much $1 billion really is and how much trust that really comes down to, right? Your users trust you with $1 billion worth of tokens and that they believe in the project and that they believe in your security. And there's really not that many companies in the world that manage $1 billion worth of anything really.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a crazy amount of money, and it's honestly hard to wrap your head around, I bet, especially until you're in that situation where, you're looking at the numbers and you're just kind of like, damn, that's just, so much money has actually flowed into this ecosystem. But it's definitely awesome to see. And I'm looking forward to seeing how big, Radium grows. And I feel like it's definitely, one of the leaders in the Solana DeFi ecosystem. And, I hope it continues to be that way. Could you just explain a little bit how a traditional AMM works and if there's any different features of Radium's AMM?
Yeah, so a traditional AMM works by, well, these days it's generally centered around a equation called the constant curve product. And it's basically the equation K equals XY. So Y being the amount of tokens Y and X being the amount of tokens X. And what happens is that when you multiply X and Y, the number K should not change. So by knowing that K, the number K never changes. If you want to swap, let's say 10 units of Y, you can backwards calculate what X is to get the amount of tokens X that would come out of the constant curve equation. And basically what happens with Raydium is that we also follow this equation. The main thing that we do differently is that we also take this equation, decompose it, and we turn into limit orders onto Serum's order book.
Yeah, that's really cool. I really like the idea of, Serum's order book and how you're able to integrate with that with a kind of more traditional AMM style. And, just a combination of the two, I think is really cool. Do you think that, the central limit order book of Serum is something that is going to get copied on other chains? Or do you think that Solana is kind of one of the only chains that can handle that kind of load?
There'll definitely be other chains that try to pull it off.
Yeah.
Solana is, by the tech spec, Solana is one of the fastest chains, or probably the fastest chain on the market right now. So, but other chains will evolve, right? Solana will continue evolving and other chains will also continue gaining speed. So sooner or later, the order book will probably be replicated on other chains because we've been using the order book for hundreds of years now. It's
Yeah.
basically, it's a very efficient way of trading and finding the market price of something. I don't really see that going away anytime soon.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And yeah, just how that, traders have been using, order books forever nowadays. So it'll be interesting to see how kind of these other chains adapt to what Solana is doing, and just seeing like the projects on whether that be like Avalanche or even Cosmos or Polkadot, whatever. I'm excited to see just those projects pop up and kind of compare the experience on Solana, because so far the experience has been overall really good. I don't think I've met anybody that's used Ethereum and DeFi on Ethereum and then tried out some stuff on Solana, whether that be Raydium, Serum Dex, or some other projects. And I don't think I've met anybody that has been like, wow, okay, I miss Ethereum DeFi. Let me go back to that. It's really just like, as soon as I started playing around with these projects on Solana, it's just like I haven't really went back. And I think that's the case for a lot of people, which is just awesome to see.
Yeah, it really is. It's just so much faster and so much cheaper to use. Instead of waiting half an hour for your transactions, you could be doing so many more other things in that time.
Yeah, definitely. And it's just the fact that you don't even have to worry about fees or speed. Like you can just participate and use these products without really having to think about all the extra stuff as far as wait times and blowing all your money on fees, especially for new users. I think that like if you want to get into DeFi as a new user that might not even have a finance background, maybe hasn't invested in stocks or anything like that, I think it's a real big turnoff whenever you come here into the crypto and have to pay a ton in fees and really can't even do much, like many different things with $1,000 or so. It's like you're pretty much screwed. So yeah, I just think opening up DeFi to more users, Solana's goal of reaching 1 billion users, I think is just really cool. But one of my favorite features of Raydium is the accelerator. Would you mind touching on kind of what the accelerator is, as well as going over your process on choosing which projects to actually partner with for that?
Yeah, so the accelerator is for one, it's an ideal platform, but it was designed as a bit more than that. So when we were launching, we found, or actually after we launched, we found that there was a lack of projects on Solana, and that there is no sustaining ecosystem. If we were the only big project there with Serum, it would not be able to bring in new users or keep new users, because you need supporting infrastructure to keep everybody around. If you don't have everything, then it's very hard to compete with Ethereum. So at the beginning, we conceived Accelerator as really a launch pad and an accelerator for new projects to get going and really boost their just the speed of their launch and the speed of how quickly they can pick up. So the accelerator is actually a 3-step process. The first step would be the community fundraising, where users in the community or in the ecosystem get a chance to invest in this token at a set price and very early on in its development phase. Then the second part is the start of trading. Basically, the trading goes live on Raydium and Serum at the same time, with Raydium being a market maker for this. So that solves the issue of these projects needing to find an external market maker. And the third step is building liquidity so that the project's easily tradable for other users and to bring attention to the product. So, and that's where the fusion pools come in, where users earn a bit of yield for their liquidity mining rewards. Yeah, so basically, these were the problems that we identified at the beginning when we were building Raydium. And we just set out to help new projects solve these issues, as well as helping them with advisory services, tokenomics, and marketing. So for the normal user, Accelerator would be, well, first of all, an ideal platform. And it's a place where they can find out about the newest, coolest projects and have faith in these projects, because we do look at a lot of projects and we're pretty selective about the ones that we launch, because we want to give, well, we're trying to build a brand here, right? That users can trust, and that you want to, especially because it's early on in the Solana ecosystem right now, you want to make sure that the projects on Solana are also projects that users can trust. So we do a lot of due diligence behind every project, and we try to make sure that, well, we've been very successful in making sure that none of these projects have been rug pulls, and that they've continued to continue building, and that they have all the tools that, or they have all the help that we can give them.
Yeah, I think that's really cool, and a really good way to kind of establish yourself, or the brand Raydium, as another leader in the space. Basically just helping all these new projects, being like a one-stop shop for people that really want to come and try out DeFi on Solana. I think giving these projects the extra help as far as marketing, tokenomics, market making, all that stuff is really awesome. And I definitely like the point that you made, that you've been really selective on which projects to actually work with on that, because you see a lot of the kind of IDOs and platforms like that really just take on any projects, and then you get, especially on other chains that are EVM compatible, you get a lot of like copy paste projects that might not have the strongest team, or might not honestly know what they're doing, and then it just ends up as a bad situation for everybody that participates in it. And so I think that Solana, not being EVM compatible, and building up a strong community is kind of weeded out some of the rug pulls and hacks and stuff like that. So that yeah, I just really like the point that you made there. And I participated in a couple of the IDOs. So I did the media one, MER, and then SNY as well. So that was pretty cool. Pretty good experience overall. I have no complaints there. So that's good. I'm really excited for this next project, Star Atlas, that you guys have coming next. I think that's a really awesome project. While we're kind of on the topic of Star Atlas, are you guys doing anything else with them in terms of maybe NFTs, or is there any possibility of any NFT features or markets coming to Raydium in the future?
We're definitely working with them on a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
All of this is under wraps right now, so I can't really tell you. But
Gotcha.
at the moment, Raydium doesn't have any plans to make its own NFT platform. We're really into NFTs. We have a lot of them actually, but we just don't have the capacity to build out a great NFT platform. And there's already other platforms that are doing a really good job, like Metaplex, and we don't really see the need to be competing with them when there's so much more work to be done on Raydium to make ourselves better and to make ourselves the best AMM out there.
Yeah, I like that. That's something I've been curious about for some of these projects in Solana right now, with kind of the NFT boom, or getting, the second wave of NFTs really right now, especially on Solana. I guess this is Solana's first wave of NFT kind of hype with the, the degen apes and all of these things. But yeah, I just like the fact that you guys are kind of focusing on Raydium, sticking to the DeFi stuff and not trying to branch out too quickly, and spread yourself kind of too thin across the network. But yeah, so another question I have for you: are there any plans for like cross-chain features through a bridge, whether that be Wormhole or a different bridge to a different chain?
Yeah, but they're very early on. So we do have the sushi partnership with has been lingering for a while now. The main reason it's been delayed so far is because of the bridging solution. Back in April, Solid was slated for deprecation because Wormhole was coming out, but Wormhole got delayed over the summer, and it's only recently just released its Wormhole V2, which would be the version that they're using going forwards. So with this bridge, we would start with our partnership with Sushi first, and then consider, we'd probably do the partnership, evaluate how everything is going, look around the ecosystem, and really evaluate whether or not it's right for us to be crossing or whether or not we still have a lot of work to do in Solana.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. It'll be interesting to see how Wormhole kind of like the success that they have and how many projects actually, bridge over and stuff.
Yeah. And cross-chain, I feel like, is going to be a really big challenge. We're seeing it, I think, more in Solana than in other chains because there's a lot of bridges coming out on Solana, actually. And when a lot of bridges come out, you're going to have Solid Wrap BDC, Wormhole Wrap BDC, Ren Wrap BDC, and just all sorts of BDC, which is really not efficient because when somebody moves their Wrap BDC from Ethereum through Wormhole, they'll get Wrap BDC that's Wormhole Wrap as well, which would just not be compatible with everything. So the bridging cross-chain would be a really big task to take on, actually.
Yeah, it's definitely a complex topic. I've done some research into cross-chain stuff, and yeah, it's definitely a lot to think about, and it would take a lot of work to pull off successfully across, a ton of different projects. And so let's touch on the Ray token. So, Ray is the token behind the Raydium platform. Could you just touch on, the purpose of the actual token and kind of just the governance overall in crypto?
Yeah. So the purpose of the token is really for governance. Our goal is to build a open platform that everybody can participate in and that people feel like a community, like they're part of a community. So governance is a really hard topic, actually. It could be done, there's very few real world examples of governance where it works really, really well, right? Like there's always people that are going to be unhappy with something, with a decision. And using a token to make this decision is also very capitalistic in its idea, that the person with the more money has the more say, which is in some ways, when you're holding the token, it's not wrong because you also are holding more exposure to it, but it's not the perfect way of doing it either, right? Where I don't believe that I'm more important than you or that my voice should be heard more than your voice, right? That we're looking for a solution where the governance really can't be exploited by a few people with a lot of tokens. And it's really we've been thinking really hard about this problem for a while.
Yeah, governance is a tricky topic. And I think, the financial incentives in crypto by holding tokens, specifically for governance, are really interesting. And yeah, I like the point that you made that it's not the perfect way to do it by, having more tokens, but I do think that it does give you, some kind of some power with, holding this token and being able to vote on what's going to happen with, the protocol and the community and all of that. I really like the idea of governance, and I'm excited to see how it kind of all plays out, in just the broader crypto kind of ecosystem. So yeah, are there any new features that are going to be coming to the Raydium platform anytime soon, or are there anything that you're really excited about that's coming up?
Um, so the first thing would be stable swaps. We've been working on stable swaps for a while now as well. Basically, it'd be good for any assets that are highly correlated. So say USDT, USDC, or synthetic BTC with other BTC. And the reason we're really excited about this is because it also opens us, well, it ties into a two-part plan, which is that we get this running, and then we get a order routing system going. Basically, if there's no market from USDT to, let's say, Sol, then it'll find the best price between there and get you, or if there's more liquid markets between these two markets, then it'll get you over there. Because right now, USDT is not big on chain, or on Solana at least, but we're seeing an increase in USDT deposits, and we're also seeing an inflow of Chinese exchanges and Chinese users starting to get into Solana. So in the future, this would gap how users can trade on Raydium. And it give them a really smooth trading experience where they don't need to look for the right pools anymore. And they can just choose which assets they have. And if it's from a stable coin to something else, then it could also be used, it would also be really cheap for them.
Yeah, that's really cool. I like that, the stable swaps. I'm really looking forward to that as well. It sounds like a really cool feature. And yeah, so I also just wanted to say big congrats on the Binance listing. That's really cool. And if I'm not mistaken, it's the first Solana-based token or SPL token to be listed on a major exchange, right?
Yeah, it is. It took a lot of convincing, and it's really a big win for the ecosystem. Well, yeah, it's one of, SPL is now one of the few chains that Binance really supports as well. And yeah, I really hope that they start bringing on more SPL tokens and get USDT, USDC support and SPL there, because that would just open up the ecosystem to one of the biggest user bases in the world, right?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. I think that's definitely a great first step. And I think it's important also that Raydium was the first one to do it. And I hope that, Serum follows behind pretty quickly. But I think, yeah, definitely that would open up the ecosystem to a whole new user base that would, I think, really accelerate, everything. And so, yeah, man, it's been great talking to you. I've really enjoyed this conversation. Before we kind of wrap things up, just my final question for you: do you have any tips to people, whether they're builders or just active in crypto, on how to find success in something that you're really passionate about? It seems like you're passionate about trading and finance and crypto in general. So, I'm just wondering if you had any tips there.
Just do things. Be very proactive. Don't worry about the rewards that you're going to get out of it if it's something that you're passionate about, right?
Yeah.
Like if you like doing something, do it because you like it, and be very active and proactive about doing it, because that's what's really going to help you. Sending out resumes isn't as good as being all over somebody's Discord, Telegram, and Twitter and chatting about their project and really getting involved in things. If you look at Sushi's team, most of their hires were from people who were just building stuff for Sushi because they really like sushi. And that's how, after they built some stuff and showed themselves proved themselves that they could be good builders, or that they are very active and they're dedicated to this, that's how you really find the best people for your project.
Yeah, man, I love that point, and I think it's very true. I'm doing some work for Solana and Serum now, just doing some writing and research, and I was able to secure those kind of opportunities just because I've been super active in the ecosystem. Trying to make as many connections as possible, using as many products in the ecosystem that I can, and, just getting in the Discord and chatting with everybody. I think that's a great point, and if anybody's kind of listening and want to get more involved in the Solana ecosystem or really any ecosystem, definitely, take note of that last point and be active in the ecosystem and, just get connected with everybody. The only way you're really going to have opportunities is if you make different connections with people. So, yeah, man, it's been great talking to you. I'm glad we finally got to hop on a call and chat. And I really appreciate you coming on the podcast.
Thank you for having me. It was really fun chatting.
Yeah, thanks a lot, man.